Well, today's been a very, very strange Sunday. Normally, as you know, I go to church on Sunday. I've got some sort of viral thing, and there's a lot of old people in church. And I thought if I go to church and smite someone with this lurgy, and then they get ill, like really ill, it's not probably a very public spirited thing to do. So I didn't go to church this morning. Anyway, mid-afternoon, I thought, well, I'm going to go out and record a video because I'm a bit hacked off with what the supposed church leaders in England have said about the United Kingdom rally. A bit hacked off with Keir Starmer recognising a pile of rubble and saying it's a state. It is run by terrorists, after all. Anyway, so I went from a walk in the usual spot, basically just around the park. And as I got in there was kind of, man, I don't know, they looked like a cross between Antifa and, a sort of street gang from London roaming about the park. And there was this kid, and he just didn't look like one of them, but there was a bit of interaction with him. And I kind of walked about 25, 30 yards, heard a bit of shouting, turned around, and this little crew are beating the crap out of this little kid. And these lads are probably 15, 16-year-old, just that sort of age where they all think they want to be gangsters. And you can't just let a little kid get the shit kicked out of him, can you? So I just shouted, I just said, leave him alone, and they kind of paused. And then I said, effing leave him alone. And they all scattered. One ran up because the kid, and I said to the kid, I said, run towards me. So he kind of staggered towards me, and, there's the light off. Great. It's just been one of those days. This never happens in Hollywood, does it? Oh. So, anyway, sorry about the irregular lighting. So anyway, this kid runs towards me. Another kid runs after him, takes a swing at him and misses, and then runs off. And the kid was getting properly bad. And I just thought, everything happens for a reason. If I had been to church this morning, probably wouldn't have gone for the walk in the park when I did. Wouldn't have been thinking about making videos about church leaders and all the rest of it. And they were really giving him a proper doing. And they were, masked up. A couple of them were masked up. I don't know what it was about. I asked him, did he know him? He said he didn't. But of course he's bound to say that, isn't he? Whether he did or whether he didn't, it's immaterial. It was bullying. He was a pretty skinny kid. And to be fair with him, he was trying to stand his ground, And I just thought, that's the fine line. Could that kid have got really hurt? He had a big shiner, he'd definitely have a shiner in the morning. And he says to me, mister, will you walk with me until I get out here? I said, yeah, of course I will. And obviously I'm a big lump. I look a lot, probably a lot tougher than I am. You know what I mean? And I got the flu, so I was thinking, man, I hope this little feral mob don't start. You know what I mean? And so anyway, got him to the end of the park. I says, how far away do you live? And by which time his mate, who'd also been, I just subsequently found out, been beaten up and thrown in a bush of nettles, he joined him. Or whether that had happened or whether he just ran off and left him, I don't know. But yeah, so, I mean, this kid, and I said, you know what? I says, God protected you today. And he just looked at me like, didn't have a clue what I was talking about. And I didn't go into it. I didn't go into any more. I thought, I'm just going to plant that seed and leave it there. Because everything happens for a reason. Every single thing. How many times have you had those experiences where you go up a street and something happens and it totally changes a situation? And I know what it's like. When I was a kid, I got attacked like that. Sometimes completely randomly, sometimes it was my own fault, but, good few times, just a random assault. And I know exactly how it feels, and I know how it affects your self-esteem. And I said to him, son, you stood your ground. I says, you did well there. Because he'll have been feeling pretty crap. Because when you're getting battered and there's not much you can do about it, you don't feel good. Now, maybe there was something going on. I don't care. It's not my business. All I know is that there's a little kid, probably 15, 16, getting really. Oh, this is sorry. I don't know if that's not recording. Getting really, really slapped about, and hopefully, I did something there to help prevent him getting really, really badly hurt. So, yeah, it just shows you. It'd been very easy to just look the other way, wouldn't it? I think a lot of people do that, and it's not the right thing to do. It's not the right thing to do. If you see someone in trouble and they're getting bullied and they're on their own, there could be a cost with it if you do it, but I think it's always better to intervene. And all I did was shout. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to get physical. Just shouted and look mean, you know. And yeah, it did the trick. Anyway, hope that kid's all right.